So people have been asking me to explain this tattoo right here on my neck and chest. Yod He Shin Vav He.
All right, let's see it.
It's called the Pentagrammaton.
So the Pentagrammaton is an artificial construction of Jesus' name that was created in late Renaissance esotericism and then was taken up in 19th century occultism and particularly within Hermetic orders. It has absolutely no relationship whatsoever to ancient Hebrew or to Jesus or how his name was actually spelled. Oh, and that is Yod He Shin Resh He.
Not to be confused with the Tetragrammaton, which is the 4-letter word of God, Yod He Vav He. The Penta is the 5-letter word of God, Yahweh Ha Shai.
So that's also not the Pentagrammaton, that's Yod He Vav He Shin, not Yod He Shin Vav He.
The Shin is added. It's this symbol. And it comes from ancient Phoenician.
That's not ancient Phoenician, that's Proto-Sinaitic. That precedes the development of the Phoenician alphabet.
Not Proto-Phoenician, which is Paleo-Hebrew or ancient Hebrew. This is modern Hebrew, this is English. So English comes from Hebrew, comes from Proto-Phoenician, comes from Phoenician or Canaanite language.
So that is very much not accurate.
So basically, the Tetragrammaton is earth, air, fire, water. Actually, earth, air, fire, water this way, because water has to be at the bottom. You have the earth at the bottom.
So I think this creator may have confused themselves a little bit because they went the other direction and attributed water to the yod and said because water has to be at the bottom. And they showed a picture where earth is on the bottom and water is associated with the vav. So I think they may be getting a little mixed up.
Water on top of the earth, air on top of the water, and fire on top of the air, and the luminiferous ether is above. But actually, ether is what everything is made of. All the atoms, the inner volume of every atom is pure ether.
So here we see the 19th century context for this stuff bubbling to the surface. There's no such thing as ether. It was a theoretical universal substance that 19th century physicists hypothesized that was the medium for electromagnetic waves. And in the 20th century, the notion that anything called ether actually existed was entirely abandoned.
So we have earth, water, air, fire, spirit, shin or shine. So that's the goal, is why Jesus becomes one with his Father. This is God, Yahweh. This is God's salvation, Yahweh Ha Shai.
So neither of these vocalizations of these Hebrew consonants has any basis in linguistics or in history, and this creator was pronouncing additional consonants in Jesus' name that aren't written there on the page.
So people, in the Bible, of course, God says, I am that I am, because look, God is I am that I am.
The Tetragrammaton absolutely does not spell out I am that I am. The Hebrew for that phrase in Exodus 3:14 is Echye Asher Echye, which is not the Tetragrammaton.
That's where it comes from. Yahweh just means hand, behold, nail, behold, or he who exists, who causes to exist, secure, and watches.
So that's absolutely not what those characters mean. That's also not the Tetragrammaton. That's not even the Pentagrammaton. That's 7 characters, and they do not have entire words and concepts associated with them. That is the product of post-biblical mystical Judaism. But these meanings are not even a product of post-biblical mystical Judaism. These meanings are a product of later Christian attempts to read Jesus back into the Hebrew, and they have absolutely no basis in linguistics or in history.
This is God, he who exists and causes to exist. This is Jesus, he who exists, causes to exist, secures, and watches.
So there's only one part of that whole statement that has any basis in any sound academic theory, and that's the notion that the Tetragrammaton, Yod He Vav He, meant he who causes to exist. That was something that was promulgated primarily by Frank Moore Cross and others in the mid to late 20th century, but that theory fell out of favor decades ago.
The feminine elements are below, earth and water, the masculine are above. So that's when it says in the Bible, the sons of God mingled with the daughters of men and create the Anunnaki. Well, that's Anu is heaven and Ki is earth. Anunnaki is you with your soul. It's not just matter.
So Anunnaki does not refer to humans at all, and this etymology is inaccurate. Anunnaki is an Akkadian transliteration of a Sumerian word, and the Sumerian word was Anuna or Anunnakene. And this was a reference to the offspring of An, the sky deity. It might mean princely offspring or something like that. We're not exactly sure on the etymology, but when it's translated into Akkadian, that ending on the end, ki, could have been associated with the idea of the earth deity. However, if so, it was associated with the deities of the underworld, but it was never associated with humans.